I'm going to rank some of the darkest and most disturbing theories of RDR2, from Karen's fate to what happened to Kieran Duffy, and a few others. If you've seen my previous videos, you already know I'm a professional tier lister. So, here are the tier names we'll be using today. Disturbing but nonsense. Dark but somewhat plausible, and it all makes sense. I think I don't need to explain these tier names because you can get their meaning just from the names themselves. So let's start with the Karen Jones theory. Many fans believe Karen simply drank herself to death, but there's a darker theory suggesting something far more sinister. During the gang's oil rig mission, most of the members leave Beaver's Hollow, but Micah, Cleet, Joe, Abigail, Tilly, Karen, Mary Beth, Uncle, and Pearson remain behind. Some speculate that during this time, Micah and his cronies could have snuck off, captured Karen, and assaulted her while the others were gone. Micah's suspicious behavior adds weight to this theory. He consistently misses major shootouts, from Valentine and Shady Belle to Braithwaite Manor, Angelo Bronte's mansion, and even the oil rig. Fans point to this as evidence that he's capable of doing something as horrific as what allegedly happened to Karen. Tilly assumes Karen's death was caused by alcohol, but she was never completely certain. By the time Arthur returns, Karen is already missing, unnoticed by most of the gang, likely because she was depressed and always drunk after Sean's death. Micah, notorious for his predatory tendencies, makes this theory especially chilling. Of course, this theory has some flaws. If Micah captured Karen, where were the other women in camp? But thinking about it, no one really paid attention to Karen, and given her depressed, drunken state, it's plausible that Micah could have gotten away with it. Considering all this, we're placing this theory in the dark but somewhat plausible tier. Another disturbing theory points to Susan Grimshaw. Considering Grimshaw's ruthless nature with her girls, it's possible she could have killed Karen, perhaps to put her out of her misery, or out of fear that Karen's drinking might make her snitch. The most likely scenario suggested by fans is that Grimshaw threatened Karen to leave camp because she had become a liability. Scrapped dialogue hints at this, as Karen sounds nervous in lines that were cut, implying she may have been forced out rather than leaving voluntarily. She might have feared that Tilly or Mary Beth would discover the truth, that Karen didn't just walk off, she was pushed out. It's also suggested that Grimshaw may have felt relief that Karen was gone, given how much the two clashed. Fans also speculate that if Grimshaw had truly killed Karen, there would be scrapped dialogue or a scene showing Arthur confronting her while she becomes visibly nervous. However, no such scene exists in the final game. Honestly, I don't think this theory is true. There's really no reason for Grimshaw to have killed Karen. She only killed Molly because Molly acted high and mighty as the girlfriend of the group leader, and Dutch had actually cheated on Grimshaw with her. That's why she took the chance to kill Molly immediately. I just don't think she would have killed Karen and then lied about it. Considering all this theory fits best in the disturbing but nonsense tier. Speaking of Dutch, Molly, and Grimshaw, there's a theory that Dutch wanted to have a threesome with both women. Honestly, I don't think I need to explain this one. Dutch is the man, Grimshaw is his ex, and Molly is his current partner, so it's not hard to imagine where his thoughts might go. Dutch never truly loved any of his girlfriends. He uses his charm to get women into bed, and this theory reflects that side of him perfectly. Considering all this, it's a theory that actually makes sense within the context of Dutch's character and his manipulative, charming nature, so we can place it in the it's all makes sense tier. Moving forward with our next theory, and that is Bill being gay. This is one of the more controversial fan theories, coming from his behavior, relationships, and some subtle hints in the game. Fans point to his complicated relationship with Kieran Duffy and some of his unsettling actions, suggesting that Bill might have struggled with his sexuality. In the game, we know he was discharged from the army for deviancy, a term that back then could mean anything outside of being heterosexual. Hosea even mentions Bill and Phil as a pair that would never work, compared to couples like Arthur and Mary or Lenny and Jenny. In camp, Bill talks about being haunted by himself and feeling out of place. He even tried his gayness on Kieran, and he got so excited when Dutch told him to cut Kieran's. Fans also speculate that some of his violent actions in RDR1 could have been misguided attempts to fit in or act straight in a world where he didn't feel accepted. Honestly, I think this theory is true because there's a lot of evidence in the game suggesting that Bill is gay. Even if he's not, why would he get excited to cut Kieran's? I don't even want to see my own. And he got excited just looking at someone else's. Considering all this, I'm putting this theory in the it's all makes sense tier. Moving on to the next one, let's talk about Kieran Duffy. He was genuinely one of the good guys in the gang, but the fate he met at the end is one of the most horrifying things in RDR2. The big question is, how did he get captured? One popular theory suggests that Kieran got really drunk while the gang was celebrating Jack's return. In his drunken state, he may have stumbled out of the safety of the camp and fallen asleep, leaving himself vulnerable. That's when the O'Driscolls allegedly grabbed him. What makes this theory especially dark is that Kieran wasn't just kidnapped, he was tortured by the O'Driscolls. Some fans even speculate they might have experimented on him, though the game doesn't show this explicitly. Even if this theory sounds true, there's some ambiguity. If they captured him, how did no one notice? Mary Beth treated him like a friend, yet she didn't realize he was gone. Considering all this theory fits best in the dark but somewhat plausible tier. And to wrap up our video, let's talk about the most talked about figure in the RDR2 community, the Strange Man. Fans have long debated who or what he really is, with three main possibilities: God, death, or the devil. Some fans think the Strange Man John meets in Red Dead 1 is actually God in disguise. The idea is that he's there to steer John toward doing the right things before his death, kind of like how Arthur can achieve a high honor ending if he makes the right choices. There's even a moment when John yells, "Damn you!" at him, and the Strange Man responds, "Many have." That's seen as a metaphor for people questioning God's existence. On top of that, he seems to know things no one else could: where the nun is, what the unfaithful man did, and even where John will end up buried. Considering all this theory is dark, but somewhat plausible. I could also see him being death. He refers to himself in cryptic ways, marks locations tied to life and death, and reminds John that he must face the consequences of his actions. Those elements fit the idea of death, quietly observing and measuring a man's choices, making this theory fit perfectly into the "it's all makes sense" tier. The devil seems less likely. His actions and dialogue don't really match that role. This interpretation is clearly the disturbing but nonsense tier. Alright, so we've gone through pretty much all the darkest and most disturbing RDR2 theories. Now, I want to know, how would you rank these? Do you agree with my tiers, or would you switch some around? If you like this kind of content, don't forget to subscribe. In the next video, I'll be diving into RDR2's weirdest relationships. Until then, take care. I'll miss you all.